Trailtown stories. What is it about? At a point where there seems to be growing divide amongst everybody, where it seems like more and more people are just creating separation between each other. I think it's important to focus a little bit more on community. It's gonna be a docu-series, ultra runners, marathon runners, trail runners, track runners. So some skateboarding, some art, some different things along the way. Trail running brought me to a community that helped get rid of a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, a lot of things that I was struggling with in the moment. Trailtown Stories is focusing on that community, focusing on bringing people together again. Let's blur some of those lines of separation and celebrate some balance and harmony. And get out on some trail, get out and have some fun. So the first individual that we'll be following in Trailtown Stories is going to be Ryan Solberg. Ryan is an ultra runner. We're going to be following him while he does the Eugene Marathon. He's going to be a pacer in that, and then he's going to double back, and he's going for the Oregon PCT FKT.
It's like a purist mentality. He's kind of like a masochist in a way. It's like from every conversation that I've gathered, he runs without music, and his like shoes, he runs to like 600 miles and just like the bare minimum, you know?
Because I did a trail race and I saw him in the middle of February, I think, with compression shorts, no t-shirt, running in 30-degree weather. I was like, who is this guy?
There's no training. It's just movement. It's just movement. So. Yeah, but it's not really an FKT. I hope I have basically an emotional breakdown just on trail and then pull it together and then finish. That's what it is I chicken out, I guess. And even if I don't chicken out, like there's races where I do like just go as hard as I can. On those races, it's like it's not long enough, or like the aid stations are too close together that it's just like I can never get myself to that point, even if I'm running as fast as I can, which I probably am not. So I figured out about 2 years ago, if I want to get to that point, like of that breaking point, I have to be alone. That will scare me. So if I'm alone, especially like the first 2 days will be hard. Running through the night when there might be stuff out there, that's hard. So that's the whole point of it. It's like everything, like our emotions, our experiences, how we interpret them is based off of like what we've experienced previously. So like to have a super amazing thing is awesome, but if your worst day is just barely south of neutral, like you don't fully understand like the full range. So like I want that full range in 1 week. That's what it is. And the FKT is just to push myself to the point where I'm more likely to just lose my shit.
The second person we'll be following is going to be Jessie. She's going to be going and training for the Eugene Marathon and then a couple different trail races onward from there.
Trail running, I mean, for lack of like a better word and still sounding cliche, like trail running is freedom, I think, right? I spent a lot of my life behind a computer screen and just trying to live within a system and be successful within a system. And I think once I get to step outside and be on the trail, there really is no system on trails. It's just you and the trail and the mountains and the trees, and it's very unpredictable. It's very dynamic. There's a lot of variables, and I think that is what trail running is to me. It just represents freedom outside of a system that I'm stuck in. The soccer field is where my running started. And then when I was probably like 14, I started to get serious about playing soccer, and so I started training with my dad, who's a wildland firefighter, and that took me to trails because they would train on the trails. So I would do that. I would train on trails when I was in my teenage years, and then I started running cross country. So I ran cross country through high school, played soccer in college, and then on the backside of playing college soccer, I got into road running, and I ran my first marathon. And so that's where the road running came in.
Running has provided me an outlet for areas that may be frustration or in my head about things. It's provided freedom. And so I guess from that experience, I've developed more grit, a little bit more patience with things, a better connection with nature, with people, and not so much about things that we may disagree with, but more things that we find in common, like just enjoying the act of running out in nature. So it's helped shape me to be a little bit better of a person, I think, in some ways, to look at life's difficult challenges in maybe a different perspective. And so some things that may have just in the moment seemed frustrating or difficult, they kind of seem like small potatoes and just another hill to accomplish. And you know, once you make it up, you get to enjoy the downhill. So peaks and valleys.
Who am I? I'm Jack Matherly. I'm a footwear buyer for Run Hub Northwest, and I run for Big Timber. I'm running my first marathon. I started running in sophomore year of high school. I showed up to school the first day, going back to school. Since the 4th grade, I was homeschooled, and I showed up, and the counselor showed up and was like, "You look like a runner, you should show up to cross-country practice tomorrow." And I was like, "No thanks, I hate running." And then just kind of thought about it the night before and didn't want to upset her, basically, so I was like, I'll show up to the first practice and just see how it goes, and made a bunch of friends and just kind of been running ever since. Goal with the marathon is just to get a good, hopefully fast time on the board, just kind of find and see where my potential really lies, and then after that I want to start committing more long-term to the ultra scene and just kind of seeing where my limits are, because I think the longer the race, it seems to be the better I can perform at it relative to shorter distances, and my goal is just to continually get better and improve in running as long as I can, and it seems like with the ultra that's kind of where I have the most potential, so I want to try and get the most out of myself.